Hey, welcome everyone. May 10th. Is it the 10th already of May? Yeah, 2023. Thanks for joining me today. That's not it. There we go. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee Nuance Show. And always, we're streaming on Rumble and the YouTubes, rumble.com/coffeenuance/live. You can just bookmark that. Find the show really easily. Hope you can do that. We see a couple people over there on Rumble already. So what's up? Hey, Duggo. How you doing? But today, ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about the spotlight effect. You know what that is, right? It's that feeling you get when you're walking down the street and you think everybody is looking at you, judging you. Well, I hate to break it to you, but they're not. Nobody cares that much. So don't worry. I care. I care enough to make some jokes about it, but let's get started. Let's talk about social media. The spotlight effect is in overdrive over there. People post mundane details of their lives, and then they get mad that nobody likes their pictures. It's like, hey, I'm eating a sandwich. Why isn't everyone paying attention to me? Well, maybe it's because nobody gives a crap about your sandwich. But you know what's really funny about the spotlight effect? It's that it's all in your head. Nobody's judging you as harshly as you're judging yourself. So maybe next time you're feeling a little self-conscious, just remember, nobody cares. And if they do, they're probably just jealous. Let's not forget about celebrities. They're the kings and queens of the spotlight effect. They think everyone is watching their every move, waiting for them to slip up. And maybe they are a little bit, but newsflash, celebrities, we don't care that much. We just want you to keep making movies and music and TV shows to distract us from our own lives. So, in conclusion, spotlight effect, yeah, it's a real thing, but it's also a big old joke. Nobody cares as much as you think they do. So go ahead. Take that selfie in public. Post a picture of your sandwich. Stop worrying about what others will think. Because honestly, they're probably not thinking about you at all. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, the best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. Yeah, talking about this spotlight effect. I may have talked about this in the past. But today is a Wednesday. I like to do a big idea on a Wednesday, a psychological idea. And this one kind of came to me today. But the spotlight effect, it's a psychological phenomenon in which we feel like we're being watched or judged more than we actually are. Yeah. And it causes us to be embarrassed or self-conscious. It's a cognitive distortion, and it shows your egocentric bias, okay, in which we rely too heavily on our own perspective rather than adjusting to take others' viewpoints into account. People with social anxiety are especially vulnerable to the spotlight effect, as they're often extremely aware of their actions and words and are afraid of being judged by others. However, the spotlight effect, it's usually an illusion. Most people are focused on their own thoughts, their own worries, rather than scrutinizing our actions. Cognitive distortions like the spotlight effect can make us our own worst critics and hinder our opportunities and successes. So, is that you? Do you do that? I think we all do to some extent. We think everybody is watching us, that we're under a spotlight all the time, but most of the time, people are thinking about themselves. They got other things going on in their head. So I just wanted to reassure you of that. It's not that serious. It really isn't. We got a great show for you today. I'm going to go through a number of stories, interesting stories, some updates from things I've talked about in the past, and we'll end it up with some good news. As always, if you like what is happening so far, hit that like button. It makes a difference. It actually does make a difference. And if you're seeing my show for the first time and you don't hate it, how about hitting that subscribe button as well? That would be a good thing. I know that's what everybody says, but they say it because it's true, right? So let's get to the first story. We're going to talk about Tucker. I thought we were going to talk about Tucker. There we go. Tucker's new show. Former Fox News host Tucker Carlson has announced that he's launching a new show on Twitter just 2 weeks after his sudden exit from the network. Carlson said in a video on the social media site, "You can't have a free society if people aren't allowed to say what they think is true." He added that Twitter is, quote, "not a partisan site. Everybody's allowed here, and we think that's a good thing." Elon Musk retweeted Carlson's video, saying that he had not signed a deal with the host, who would be subject to the same rules as other content creators. Carlson's departure from Fox News came shortly after the network paid $787 million to settle a defamation suit brought by voting machine company Dominion. So that is interesting. Tucker said he's going to do something on Twitter, and Elon Musk said, "I didn't sign anything with Tucker." He's just going to be putting his show up live for the world to see? Just like that? Wow, that's awesome. I tried putting my show up live on Twitter. Nobody cared. I could look at it and see that I'd get the one view or something like that. But I could always go back to doing this show live on Twitter. I don't think Twitter is necessarily at this moment the best place to be watching a full show. But maybe Tucker can change people's minds about that. And if that's the case, I'll keep posting my stuff over on Twitter as well. So that's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. I don't think many people would have predicted that he would do that he would just go to Twitter. And I was looking into it. It looks like he's going to have to give up $20 million, $25 million that's owed to him on his contract to get out of it so that he can keep producing content for everybody else. So that's someone that you can do that when you have enough money that you're able to just say, "Oh, you know what, that $25 million you owe me? Keep it. Keep it. I want to keep talking to the people." That's refreshing. I think that's kind of cool. And of course, I'm sure the mainstream media, the corporate media, are going to lose their collective minds once they find out that Tucker's going directly to the people. And no longer will these corporations be able to silence him. So, exciting times. Who knows? He hasn't announced when he's going to start, but I, for one, am looking forward to it. But now, let's get to an update about my favorite congressman, George Santos. Oh, George. Just yesterday I was talking about your act, your Menage act that you introduced. Well, today we got different news because Representative George Santos, Republican from New York, has been indicted on 13 federal charges, including wire fraud, money laundering, and theft of public funds. Santos allegedly used political contributions to enrich himself, unlawfully applied for pandemic relief-related unemployment benefits, and lied to the House of Representatives. He was arrested on Wednesday, today, and will be arraigned in court later today, probably as I speak. Santos was elected to Congress in 2022 after a failed bid in 2020. In January, he faced calls to resign after allegations surfaced. He fabricated a good deal of his resume. So, not good luck for Mr. Santos. Although I will say, are we going to start, arresting all the Congress people, everybody in Congress that does wire fraud, money laundering, and steals public funds? Because isn't that about half of them? Right? Right? If this is good enough to go after George Santos, should we not go after all the other Congress men and Congress women, those senators that are doing the exact same thing? And yeah, but that's how it works in this country. That's how it works. Doesn't appear to be equal justice under the law, does it? Doesn't look that way to me. I hope George Santos gets through this unscathed, because I've become a big fan. Not necessarily of all his lying, but kind of his redemption arc. I am personally amused by him, so I want him to stay in Congress just for my own amusement. But yeah, we'll have to see what's going to happen with Georgie there. So let's get to the next story about the border. And that stopped working. Cool. President Biden has conceded that the end of Title 42 border policy later this week will lead to a chaotic migrant surge at the southern border. Title 42 allowed law enforcement to swiftly deport migrants apprehended crossing the border, and its end is expected to prompt a flood of migrants. Biden has said he's unsure whether the U.S. is prepared for the expected influx, with over 80,000 South American migrants amassing in Guatemala and planning to head to the U.S.-Mexico border. Some have already set up tents near the border crossing in El Paso. There we go. Do you know what Title 42 was? Well, essentially, this was something that's been on the books for a long time. And what it does is it says that the U.S. can reject people coming across the border that are coming from areas that might have contagious diseases. And so when coronavirus hit, Trump enacted this and said, okay, well, everybody coming from south of the border, or anybody coming from anywhere, might have coronavirus, so we can just turn them away. And he faced a lot of criticism for that, because it was like he was using a law that wasn't necessarily intended the way it was intended. It was kind of more to just keep people out. And that was the law that he chose to use. But now that the pandemic is coming to an end, all of the restrictions have been closing. So now Title 42 is going to close as well. And it really doesn't look like anybody has a plan on what to do about the border. This is an issue that I don't think anyone has a good solution. It's a tough problem. It's complicated, and most people are unable to talk about it at all. Anytime you get into a discussion with someone about the border, it doesn't last very long, and people get emotional, and so it's a tough thing to talk about. But if we can't talk about it, how are we supposed to fix it, right? So already I've been seeing aerial footage of lots of people crossing the border, not being caught by Border Patrol at all. I saw a report, it's like over 1,000 a day are crossing and are not even being stopped. So I think we've had like, what, 2 million in the last year? This is a very serious issue, And perhaps someday soon, I will come up with a solution to solve the entire border problem. But I don't have that solution today. But if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. Next up, an end to a news era. Paramount Global is laying off 25% of its domestic team, with the majority of the cuts affecting 9 separate teams being consolidated into one portfolio group. Units such as MTV News will be shut down altogether, while others are being streamlined. The cuts come after integrating Showtime into cable and streaming, consolidating it into 2 functions: studios that combine Showtime with MTV Entertainment Studios, and networks. Paramount Global has 24,500 employees company-wide at the end of 2022. These cuts were all but inevitable due to the degree of consolidation and the broader health of the marketplace. So MTV News is no more. You may be thinking, Tom, I didn't know MTV News was still a thing. I didn't either. I did not either. I can't think of a time I've remembered anything from MTV News for the past 20 years or so. But I can still have that that sound in my head, you know, when Kurt Loder would pop in with the latest news on what was happening with Britney Spears or NSYNC or something like that, right? But yeah, that's it. End of an era. No more MTV News. Losing lots of these news, entertainment programs. So much consolidation out there. And, you know, I guess if things aren't working, you got to try something new. MTV News, no one's watching it, so what's the point of keeping it, I guess. But it's an end to an era. Do you have a favorite memory from MTV News? I did like their graphics where they would have the old typewriter come up and type in NEWS. You know, I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, that's it. Let's get to some good news, shall we? We need some good news. A new study shows that visitors to a modern art museum experience more excitement and positivity when they read detailed descriptions of the artwork, compared to simply seeing basic labels. The study from University of Florence found that visitors who were given more detailed descriptions of each piece of artwork, including its background and meaning, spent significantly more time viewing each artwork on their second museum visit, exhibited physical signs of excitement, and experienced more positive and fewer negative emotions during their second visit. The study suggested that museum visitors might benefit from modern art labels with more detailed explanations about the artwork, the technique used, and the artist who also created the work. So more information about all of that tended to give people a much more positive experience. Well, I think that's pretty cool. And that's not really self-evident, you know? That's not something that you would naturally think. But if they ran this study, and it was a legitimate study, if you are a curator, if you're running a museum, if you want people to have a better experience, to put out more descriptions seems to be a really awesome thing to do. I know that that's one thing that I enjoy when I go to museums. You know, often you can get the audio experience as well. You know, they have a little thing and you can listen to someone describe each piece, or describe this movement, or describe this era, describe the artist. It's all adds to your experience. And now they've said through the study that doing so will give you better experience, not just this time, but when you come back, you're going to have a better time. There might be something to this. And so I ask you to give that a try. Next time you go to a museum, perhaps see if you can get a more detailed description of each of the pieces of art and see if that brings you into it more. See if that makes it a more fulfilling experience. It may just do that. I'd never thought of that before, but I'm glad that I read this article. And now I'm going to give it a try. And I'll let you know how that goes. So that's it. Stick around for the after show. I'll be going through all of your comments and all that good stuff. I wanted to, before I get to the comments though, I had one last thing that I wanted to say. I just found out that Stevie Bradley passed away. He was one of the guys on a wrestling show, wrestling podcast that I watched. He would sit in on the watch-alongs for the pay-per-views and, you know, jump in with jokes and comments. And he's someone that I have enjoyed over the last couple of years, especially over the pandemic when lots of things were closed, to be able to watch a program and have a live stream on as well with people talking about it, really added to the experience and added to the community. And so even if you were alone, having other people talk around you was a really nice thing. And he passed away from cancer last night. And I just wanted to give him a toast before the after show. Rest in peace, Stevie. But he'll be missed. Anyway, stick around for the after show. I'll be going through all of your comments. And I'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Starting it off and not saying the word that begins with an A. I am working on it. Nice to see some people over there on Rumble. Duggo, what's up? Hey, what's up? Miranda's there saying hi. We get a lot more views eventually on Rumble than we do on YouTube. Not as many people watch live on Rumble, though. So if you are watching live on Rumble, leave a comment. Let me know that the people watching are real. That'd mean a lot to me. Let's see. See, Jody, she's working. She can't watch, but she can listen. What's up, Jody? Glad you're listening to the show. Miranda says, I post what I fix for meals on Facebook and a small group of friends and family like it. I don't care if anybody else cares. Yeah. But it's nice to be able to share things with other people. Natasha says, I apologize in advance for garlic breath if I have to be in close proximity to someone. Is that the spotlight effect? Maybe your concern about your garlic breath might be the spotlight effect. That's for sure. Natasha says, I may actually get on Twitter now just to see Tucker. Yeah, Twitter's always been tough for me, but if he's going to be on there, I'll definitely check out some of his parts of his shows. Miranda says, Glenn Greenwald's husband, David Miranda, passed away. He'd been in critical condition since a stroke last August. Pray for Glenn, their 2 sons, and all who love David. Yeah, I did. I saw that news as well. He was a young guy. The Hill did a spot on George Santos today, and it morphed into a comparison with Trump, the Pants on Fire twins, amidst the entire blazing swamp gas background. Yeah, that's, the Hill does what the Hill does. Again, I've been really amused by George Santos, and I don't hate him. So maybe MTV will circle back to just music videos. They should do music videos. They really should, because music videos are very, very popular now. They're getting so many views. You would think that that would be a good show. The issue is people can just pull up whatever music videos they want. They don't have to wait for MTV to play them. But I think there's something there. I think there could be a show like that. It's nice to be near the Kimball. They get some hard-to-attain collections. Miranda says, was Kurt Loder still doing it? I don't know. I haven't seen MTV News in a long, long, long time. I rarely know, Natasha says, I rarely know when celebrities die. I doubt they'll notice I check out too. That's true. I got the jar ready. Nice. Nice. Yes, I said I would have a jar. I didn't lie. It was my intention. But I will have a jar, but I did not use that word today, I believe. Oh, Big Daddy 5150 says, I'm real, Tom. Oh, so glad to see a Big Daddy 5150. I'm glad that you're checking in live. I appreciate you for doing that. So thanks a lot. Anyway, that's all the show that I have for you today. Tomorrow, I'll do my best to find out what's going on in the world and let you in on it, give you my take. But until then, have a beautiful day. Peace.